Hey, I hope you're all doing well. Today at RTS, we are actually going to record the story. Yes, how fun. Okay, so I'm filming this in April, and you won't probably see this till May, but I'm learning how to do YouTube videos. This is all new, so why not, right? And I thought before I started to work on this page, I would turn the camera on and maybe learn how to edit photos, edit videos. Okay, so Alice gave me the prompt to work on, and I think mine will be showed the 20-something of the month. And so it's wonderful that so many other ladies have agreed to do layouts. And so when you see the prompt, you see a layout that corresponds with the prompt, and it just gets you excited. So Alice gave me the prompt, and I'm not going to share that because, of course, it's a paid content and you just don't do that. So with the prompt in mind, I thought to myself, what photo am I going to use? Because I know what I want to say, but I don't have a photo. And since this is a personal, my personal thoughts, I really don't have a photo of me lately. And if I do, I probably don't like the way it looks, so I'm not going to use that. So what I thought I would do is I would print an image from the internet, and this is what I did. And this all goes along with the prompt, which I won't talk about. And so then I thought, okay, I'm using papers and color that makes me excited. And honestly, look at this color of paper. You see this jadeite green? It is actually it's my most favorite color ever. But isn't it just gorgeous? And yes, I bought multiples of it. And it's from the Echo Park Fashionista collection last year. And this is fun too. But I'm using it for this beautiful, because with the prompt, and since it's something coming from my angle, I wanted to use colors and also product that represent me, so I can emphasize the story because it's a personal story. Okay, so then I thought, okay, I wanted to play with this. This made me excited. I have my photo. What do I need to do now? Okay, so I thought, well, go to my handy dandy sketches, and so I found one from Page Maps. I think this is the one I'm going to work with. And the reason I picked this, and I'll bring this a tad closer, is this one, is because of all the floral. And I knew if this is going to be a page about me, it has to have floral. So of course I have floral on this, which I'm going to do some fussy cutting. And then also too, I thought I would do some die cutting because I have a die. And I'll bring my catalog out. Okay, this is my catalog with my dies, and I will be talking about this at a later date. I'm sorry if that's glare. And so I knew that I have this die. Oh, there's some leaves. Yes. I knew I had this die. This is the one I wanted to use. And when I saw that sketch, I thought, okay, I want to use that die. So, okay, I have to remember 55. That's the one. That's the one I want to do. 55. And I don't know, 55. Trying to see if there's something else. That's a nice font. 55. Ooh, there's some leaves. I don't know, do I need to do that too? 55. I'm just showing you how my process is a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll do that. The sketch isn't going to call for too many graphics. So basically just some floral die cutting. So, okay, what else? And I don't spend a lot of time when I'm looking for things. Oh my, okay. That doily. Doily and florals, yes. And then I probably want to add a cross since this is me. So 13. What was that other number? Oh dear Lord, I forgot already. 13, 55. Sir, sometimes I have the attention span of a gnat. Okay. let me just go pull those real quick. 13 and 55. Okay. See how quick that is to pull when your things are organized? Yeah, baby. Love that. Okay. And so I think, according to this, you know, I'm going to need, I have some tabs. I seem to use a lot of tabs on things. Tabs. Oh, okay, right here. 7. So let me go find number 7. Okay, bing, bang, boom. Number 7. Here we go. So, okay, let me put my catalog away, and you'll see this coming up in a video not so long from now. Okay, so I have my papers, I have my sketch, my photo, because, you know, printing photos, something I don't think I'm ever going to conquer, but that's another story for another day. So, okay, I know I want to do a doily, and if I don't use this, at least maybe that'll remind me to pull a doily. I definitely want to use this because that's represented there, and I will probably put a cross somewhere, and I probably will use labels. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking my foundation and I'm building up. So what do I want to do now? Okay, the next thing I had to go to is alphas. And so I'm looking at my color scheme, and I really don't think I'll go with pink because I'll probably end up being laying on one of these. So I decided to go with black and white. My photo is black and white, and we'll see how they work. So I went and got these two options. Okay, this is very pretty. Oh, and it's got polka dot. This has polka dot. So we'll see. I may not have enough letters for my title. Isn't that always the way it goes? So, but my title is going to be kind of long because of the prompt. And so I'm going to need a smaller, oh my goodness, I'm going to need a smaller alphabet to correspond with that. So I went ahead and just picked out these two little ones because my words are small, so I don't need a lot. And hopefully I will have enough for my title. I'm pretty sure I gave it a rough go before I looked. Okay, so what do I have? I'm building up. I got my foundation, I got my sketch, I got my photo, I got some extra little things, and I got my thickers, alphas. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a little bit of stitching there. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to stamp, but okay, I don't want to be lazy. So I did pull out one of my favorite stamp sets. I'd say this is in the top 10 stamp sets because of these stitches, and it's by Bo Bunny, and it's still available. If you see it, I would grab it because, you know, Bo Bunny was bought by American Crafts, and so that's another story for another day. But these stitching, and the doilies are beautiful too. I've used them. But this stitching is when you don't feel like getting out your sewing machine, but you want some stitching. There you go. That's an option. Okay, so now what else am I going to do? And I need to get on this. I need to get it submitted and get it done, and nothing like waiting to the last minute. But I think that is a good start. And once I get playing around, you can see in the sketch that I don't have to pull a lot of other product because my main focus will be this die cutting that I'm going to do. It takes minimal amount of paper, and I know what my journaling is going to be. So let me get playing. Let me get a few little cuts made in the paper, and let's see what I come up with. And I will be back soon. Okay, hold on. Stay tuned. Okay. Okay, everyone, I'm back again. And so what we have here is just by going by the sketch a little bit, thinking where I'm going to put this, that, and the other thing. I knew that since this jadeite green paper is, I just love it. I knew I wanted to have it as a background. And so all I did was just cut that. And then whatever's left over, you know, you can use for extra matting and things like that. So following the sketch, of course, you see where the photos are. That's just not going to be my orientation. So I went ahead and I thought, well, I'll mat it with this light pink, and I wanted to bring back that jadeite green in from the background to bring that forth. And then I basically followed the sketch as far as these two other patterns. Followed them. So this is what I have left over of that 12 by 12 jadeite green sheet. Maybe I'll use that for a label or something. Okay, so what did I do next? Okay, I got my title worked on, and so of course I used the wax paper trick, as a lot of us do. And this is going to be my title. How hard is it to simply be nice? Okay, also along with the prompt that Alice gave us. And I want to give a quick tip when you're working with alphas and, you know, also too thickers, we all use a lot of thickers, is that when you're pulling letters to use for your titles, always pull from the edges first. Okay, sometimes you can, like this Y, there wasn't no Y on the edge, and you say, okay, why do you do that? Over the years I found that if you use the alphas the closest to the edge when you can, you have less chance of things falling off when you put it away. It's just honestly a little quick tip that you wouldn't think makes a difference, but it does. Oh, you know what? I see these little dots. Wouldn't they make cute little, like, faux enamel dots? So I just put whatever I think I might use on this wax paper. And I have this extra question mark I know I want to use. So, yes, that's just a little tip. Whenever you can, use the alphas on the edge and work your way in. Same way with these little ones. Pull from the edge and work your way in. Okay, so I got that. So then I got to thinking, okay, what else, since this is coming from my viewpoint, what else represents me? Well, I know I'm going to get the florals covered here in a minute with these die cuts. And braids. I love my braids. So I thought what I would do is I'd pull my stash of braids. And yes, I will admit this is just simply a fraction of the braids that I have. That is my favorite embellishment of all time. If I only could have paper and braids, I'd be good. So I know I want to use my braids, so I'm going to keep them. Oh, that's going to have too much glare. Not going to work. But I'm going to use, definitely going to use my braids. I don't want to forget that. And I don't have any idea which color just yet. But, and then, don't forget, I wanted to do some fussy cutting of these florals. And, you know, I'm going to have this pink on pink, so, maybe what I'll do is flip the sketch a little bit. And maybe I'll shift everything to the left and do my florals on the opposite side of what the sketch showed. You know, I'm a left-handed person, so I like everything to the left. But if I use these pink on pink, we'll have to see how that goes. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to keep thinking about what else I might want to add that says something about me. And, of course, I don't want to forget, because I don't want to be lazy, I want to use these stamps. And I like to kind of do that before I start adhering things down. In case I make a mistake, then I just make another cut. So that's what I'm going to do. It's coming along. So, okay, stay tuned. We'll see what we can come up with. Okay, ladies, we're back. You see how the page is starting to take shape? See all this I have over here? And so, okay, where are we going to go? Okay, I have my title glued down using my favorite adhesive in the world. Okay, and you know how it is. Those thickers, you might as well put the glue on now because you're going to have to do it later. Or they get crooked, and I'd much rather see them crooked than at the bottom of a page protector. So, I got that glued down. I got the stamping in. Got that done. Not very much, but it's something. And to give it a little bit of an anchor here at the bottom. And then I did pick out a doily, but with everything I got going on over here, I just think it's going to be too much. So we're going to table that maybe. I used this die, and I cut out 4 of these. And what that paper is that's another Echo Park paper from Bundle with Joy. See, it's a baby paper. So I cut that out 4 times. Will I use all 4? I don't know. I might layer them to give a little bit more dimension. Or I might only use 2, not sure. So when I'm working on something like this, and this is going to be my main embellishment, I did my fussy cutting, and I'm just playing with everything. And so I'm thinking, I might just do some groups of 3 here, and this is what I do. Just kind of lay everything out. And as I'm doing this, as I was fussy cutting, I was looking at the paper, and I have some fussy cutting tips that I'll show at a later date. But as I was fussy cutting this, you see I didn't cut out these leaves or these berries. I have found that I just do not have the time, nor the patience, nor the inkling to want to do that, because sometimes I want a white edge and sometimes I don't, and I just didn't want them. So I thought I will take a cue from the designer of this collection and use some black leaves along with some jadeite leaves. So I went again to my catalog, quickly found some leaves, and I found 2 different options. I found this one, which is another one of this goes in my top 10 dies of all time. Just beautiful. Look at that. You can do so much with that. I did a month in review. Was that last year? Or the year before? Not sure. And I used this as my entire embellishment for the whole album. So I thought, oh, these leaves would be great. But the thing I ran into is, you see how these are similar? Okay? And so when you're working with something like this, when you have a lot going on, not only do you want to add texture and dimension, but you want to add different motifs or different versions of the same thing. So I had this long Tim Holtz alteration die. What is it called? Spring Greenery. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 options on that. That's nice. I like this. So I thought, oh, this would be nice and this would be nice. So that's what I did. I cut the black out of this. Okay. And I cut this leftover green. And you see how I took that 112 by 12 jadeite green. I have it for this. I matted it for this. And now I'm using the remnants for die cutting. Is that just not the best way to stretch a piece of your favorite paper? Okay, so will I end up using all that? That's a lot right there. It depends. I'm going to do some dimensionals with some foam tape and see. Now, when I'm fussy cutting, I'm thinking, what else do I want to add? So I was thinking, well, I could do the stickles option. Maybe do some stickles in here. I might do some enamel dots. Add those. And I may not do the enamel dots because I have something over here that I might do with the enamel dots. So then I have some glimmer mist, and I have Wink Estella that I may add to make those flowers shine a little bit. So those are my options. And when I'm thinking of those things as I'm working on something else, I'll just pull them out, because I didn't have a kit or anything with this. This is just for the load challenge coming up in May. So I wanted to show you a little trick. I'm going to move all this because I have to move it anyways. You see, when I did this, I have overhang. Now for some people that's not going to bother. For me, that's a bother. And I'm not worried about this because this is going to get covered up. But let me show you a little trick what you can do. Just pull this up, run your fingernail across it, voila, it's gone. Okay? How quick is that? Because you don't want to rip everything up and have to trim that. See the difference? See how that little bit of overhang there? Of course, my camera I can't really see, so I apologize. Okay, so see that little overhang? I didn't want it over here. It bothers me. I know that's just such a slight little thing, but it bothers me. Just pick it up, and this is why you don't put adhesive on your very edge of everything. So I picked that up, run my fingernail against it. It is gone. Isn't that just a neat little thing? Okay, so fussy cutting. You see that I did a lot of fussy cutting. And I will do a video on some tips of fussy cutting. Because when I first started doing it years ago, I thought, oh, I can't do this. It didn't look right. I didn't like it. So the big thing to remember when you're fussy cutting is move the paper, not your scissors. And again, well, no, that didn't go good. I got a phone call. I'm going to learn how to have to do that. So we'll be editing that. Okay, so fussy cutting. Move your paper, not your scissors, and I'll have a video coming up that will go a few more tips on that. So I think that's it. for now. Oh, one other thing. I did the Jen Gallagher trick. And what's the Jen Gallagher trick? Okay, I'll put her link below because she's on so many levels of awesome. I don't even know where to start. But she used a lot of craft in her layouts, and I was watching some recently, and I thought I need to start doing that because it just adds another color per se, but not adding color. You know what I mean? It just adds like a buffer. And so like you can see, I have so much of the same color, the jadeite, the pink, and the black. Jadeite, pink, and black. Okay, and that's all good. That's what you want. But I'm like, I need a little something extra. So I thought I'm going to do the Jen Gallagher trick, and that's honestly what I call it. When I pull out anything that's craft, that's a Jen Gallagher craft or Jen Gallagher tip. Trick. So I thought I would do that, and then what I'm going to do is going to do my journaling on craft, and then I pulled out a few of these that will tie in, and I'll just, that way I'll have my triangle of my craft elements. So I don't want this to get too long. And then also too, I saw when I was doing the fussy cutting, they also had little jadeite flowers. So maybe, perhaps what I'll do is I'll find a little punch, because I still have some of that jadeite paper left from the same 12 by 12 sheet. So I thought maybe I could just punch out a little flowers and put them here, or maybe over in here, because then I'll have my jadeite in a triangle. Okay. Okay. I think this will be probably near the end, because I don't want to get this too long, but I do want to learn how to edit all of this. So when I come back, I will have the finished page, and you can see how it all came together. Okay? Thanks for staying with me. Okay, bye. Okay, we're back, and we have the finished page, and I also was a good girl, and I got this submitted to Alice, and so we are good to go. I made the deadline, so whew, okay. So what did we do from the last segment? So what I did was I played with this main embellishment border, and then I added a supporting cluster and then additional cluster. I also worked on my journaling, and honestly, that was about it. That's all I needed to do. So I thought I would go over a few things, and then also a few tips and tricks to help with some design principles. So you know, when I first started to pull supplies, you saw what I wanted to do. We did table the doily. It was just too much going on, but I also said I wanted to get a cross in, so I made sure I got that in. So I used that as my representation when I was thinking of what I wanted to add. We also said perhaps maybe using some of that leftover jadeite green, which, by the way, this is all I have left of that 12 by 12 sheet. And this still can make something. So that I utilized that entire 12 by 12 sheet, and you can guarantee I'm not going to throw this away. This will be going for something special down the road. So I think I ended up using the small one, and I just used that as a little bit of something as a supporting element in this cluster. Okay, so what I did was I took those 4 pink die cuts, and I decided to use all 4, and I layered them one on top of the other. And then while I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I took some glimmer mist. Oh, it's knocked my light over. Holy Moses. So I used this glimmer mist, and I sprayed all my flowers what I thought I was going to use so they would dry. And then I just started layering and tucking and gluing and adhering. And so what I did was I started with this pink, and you see how I did not glue all these leaves down. And what that does is that helps you to be able to tuck in all these other little supporting die cuts that you want to use. And that's simply all I did. It's not difficult at all. I know it looks difficult, but all you do is, this is really, it's just paper. That's all it is. What do I have? Some enamel dots there and some label stickers, but it's just all paper. It's not complicated. I just laid. And when you do something like this, if you just start layering and playing and don't adhere anything till you kind of know where you want to go, and then just have fun with it. You can't do this wrong. Now I do want to say, when you start adhering die cuts down in a manner where you're going to be playing with them, I do suggest a liquid glue, and this gives you a lot more wiggle room than, say, something like this, because this is a quick dry. Okay, now today it's called tacky, but it's still quick dry formula. So definitely used a liquid glue, and this Tombow gives you some room and some time to maneuver things around to exactly the way you want it. So after that was done, I thought, well, this pink's not really standing out. It was kind of blending in, and I wanted to have a little bit more zing and bling. So I added some stickles to these. And anytime I'm using something like this, I do make sure it's the last thing I'm going to do at the end of my scrap session, and then I let it dry overnight, because I can guarantee you I will get it everywhere if I don't wait. So then I added my journaling. A tip with journaling. I had a lot to say. I knew I had a designated space for this, so another tip I do, which is what a lot of people do, you just print it out ahead of time on a piece of copy paper and then run your cardstock through to make sure it fits. Because actually when I started to do this, I thought it was going to be in landscape form and it was just too big, so I had to downscale. And speaking of the journaling, remember I said this is a personal page about me and I wanted to use product that represented me as a scrapbooker? Same way with my font. I used my favorite font on a page that has to do with my thoughts. Isn't that just another way? When I see that, I know that that's my favorite font. It's a typewriter font. So I worked on these two little clusters, and really this is something I also teach people in different classes when I was teaching a lot, is that when you're working on a cluster and you don't know what to do, the easiest thing to do is to look at what you've already done. So say I'm working down here. I knew I wanted to include another question mark, and I'll tell you why that in a minute. But I knew I had florals over here, so I want to add some florals. And I already know my color scheme, right? And I knew I had a pop of black, so I want to have a pop of black. And I had some enamel dots here and here, so I knew I had to create a little bit of a triangle. And then also too, I used a product that emphasized me, which is a compass, which has to do with this whole prompt. Again, up here at this top cluster, again, what did I already do? I already used floral, already used leaves, and this brings in the hot pink, and then of course the jaded green, and I had wanted to use that cross. So it's just one of those simple things. You're like, oh, I don't know. Well, just look at what you've already done and then just replicate it on a smaller scale in your clusters. Okay, now speaking of a few design principles, and I don't want to make this too much longer than it already is, I want you to look quickly at some visual triangles so you can see how you get a well-balanced page. Okay, first of all, let's look at the boldest, which is the black. Right here, here, and here. Again, visual triangle. Okay, jadeite green here, here, and I made sure I added it in these outer clusters. You get that eye going in that triangle. Let's see, hot pink. And this is a good rule to talk about the 75, 50, and 25. And that is a design principle, like when you're working with clusters or embellishments. Have something that's 75 represented, 50% represented, and 25 represented. So just think of your three clusters being large, medium, and small. And that'll work on any page, on any topic, on anything. Just do big, medium, and small. Okay, so what else do we have? My craft, you know, the Jen Gallagher trick. We had craft here. I used these enamel dots to bring in the craft over here. And then my craft and journaling. Again, another visual triangle. Okay, now let's talk the obvious, the floral. Floral here, floral here, floral there. See how that creates that visual triangle? Same way with leaves. Leaves here, and leaves here. And these honestly were just cut off for these ones I didn't use here. Okay, and then again, what else do we have? We have enamel dots. We have enamel dots again in a visual triangle. And my question marks. Here, here, and here in a visual triangle. It cannot get any simpler than that when you're looking of what to do on your clusters. And then also too, I want to talk about text, because text can be in a visual triangle too. I think sometimes that's overlooked. If you look here, this is just this big thing. I might have a title, I might have a photo, I might have some embellishments, but your eye sees this as one whole thing because of the mat. So I have text here, I have text represented over here, and I have text represented here. Okay, that's another visual triangle you can do. And then if you want to get really technical, you can also look at something that's in a pattern. So you see I have polka dots here, I have polka dots here, and I have polka dots here. Okay, and I was really going to take some Nouveau white crystal drops and put them in the leaves, but I'll talk about that in just a minute as to why I did. Which is my next topic, is white space. Okay, so you're saying, okay, this is so embellished, this is embellished, this is embellished, but you got this going over here, it looks plain. Okay? That's what you want. When you have a page or you have some embellishment clusters that are busy, you need a place for your eye to rest. And for my page right here, that's this right here. Okay, so we got this going on, we got this going on, we got this going on, and so my eye can be like, oh, a place to rest. And so you want that on a page when you have embellishment clusters or you have any type of design where it's busy. You want some place where your eye can rest. And usually I say if your eye can rest near your photo, then you got it going on, because that's where you want your eye to be anyways, is on your photo. Okay, so I want to tell you something a little funny happened. I actually had a moment. Okay, so I was gluing down these word labels because I wanted to bring in a little bit more text, and wouldn't you know, this little puppy right here landed on my photo. Now mind you, they wouldn't stick for anything over here, but on my photo, sure as you know anything, it's stuck. And so when I pulled it up, I was like, there is no way I can print this photo again and redo this title and redo this. I thought, oh. So I pulled it up, and yeah, I have a mark there. And I thought, oh, goodness gravy. But then I said to myself, you know what, Janet? This page is about you. And guess what? You have more than one imperfection. So when I see that little mark, and it probably might not even show up, but for me, I see it, and it bothers me. But since this is a page about me, sometimes you have to embrace the imperfections. And so that's what we do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So when I see that, I thought, another representation of me and my imperfections. Okay, I think that is it for this page. I hope you liked how it went from start to finish. I have 2 other little tips. Okay, I'm always talking, so forgive me. When I was die cutting this black label here, and I don't even know if I could find my die, because if you saw how my desk looked, oh, Uchi mama, it is a mess, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So when I was already die cutting that, what I do is I go ahead and just cut enough paper to fit the whole die or the die set. And so I have these additional left over. I mean, you're already going to pass it through your machine anyway, so why not go ahead and cut some extra while you're at it, and then I put that in my color bin, and so I already have some black labels to go. That is a tip I say. If you're going to run something through the die, do it 2 or 3 more times, and that way you have that for later use. Okay, now page is done. Now, and I want you to leave a comment below if you can tell me what are some of the last things you do, very last things when you're done with a page. For me, I flip it over, and I will take washi tape and I will cover up these brads, because putting a brad with these prongs in a page protector was like a pregnant woman doing a high jump. It just can't be done. So that's what I do. The last thing, of course, I already have my date on there, my journaling, because I know that's covered. The last thing I do is I use my quick dry, and I will lift up the corners of my project, and I will add anything, because remember, when I adhere things, I usually just go in the middle. I don't do edges. And so then I'll just lift up my edges, my paper, my photo, anywhere, journaling, and I will add an extra glue in my corners. That is the very last thing I do when I make a scrapbook page. So I think that's it. Thank you for coming along on this start to finish, Janet learning how to do videos and doing a page for load, that whole thing. But I do want to say that there will be some links below. If you want to read what the journaling is, I will put that in the description. Like I said, it goes with the prompt. If you want to see this page map sketch that I used this one in the corner, I will leave the link for that below. I will also try to link this beautiful Bow Bunny stamp set if I can find it in some stores. I will try to link that as well. And what else do I want to link? Oh, the beautiful Jen Gallagher. Okay, and that way you can see what this craft technique is all about. And then also, if you're interested in this Echo Park Fashionista collection, which is where most of these papers came from, I will put that. There's only a couple stores that I will support 100%, and I will recommend 100%, and so I'll put that below. And then if you're interested in the load events, of course, when you see this will be up on day 25 if you are taking the load event. And I will link for load and the Scrap Happy membership and every wonderful thing that Alice does, I will link that all below. And I'm going to stop talking right now before we get into 2 hours. Okay? Thanks for stopping by and enjoying this process with me and having patience as I learn this entire YouTube video journey. Okay? Until next time, come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to learn. Take care.